Well, hello there! You know the drill, you'll see the same 3 characters rank highest. But this time I'll also give you my opinion on some unpopular characters that you probably should use, so let's get into it. So this video will be based on my personal opinion, as I've been playing Genshin for over 3 years, and I've got quite a long list of characters that I do regret building. And also I've got some characters that would have been extremely valuable to build, that I sadly did not. So let's get into it. Now I would like to do this in a form of a tier list, because I think that's just the easiest way to do it. So of course, first 3 characters, Bennett, Xingqiu and Zhangling. Now, I would say Zhangling ranks the lowest amongst these, because Xingqiu you'll just always use, you need a hydro support. I would argue that Xingqiu might be in front of Bennett, but since you need a healer and generally there's not a bunch of great healers and you would really want 2 for your Abyss team, so I guess we can put Bennett in front of Xingqiu. So these 3 characters, they're always rank highest. It's pretty simple. Bennett is straight up broken, buffs the attack of your whole team. Xingqiu is generally the best 4-star hydro support, and you always need a hydro support. And Zhangling is basically 4-star DPS that rivals half of 5-star DPSs. Okay, now I've got these adjusted a bit more clearly. So these are first 3 characters you should be building. Now one character that I personally really regret building, as I built him quite a bit, happens to be none other than Traveler. Yeah, I brought him to level 70. I've kinda invested in his talents too, although that was probably my biggest mistake ever, since of course whatever you get for free doesn't happen to be good. I would say the same thing about these few characters we got for free, they're just not worth it. Did we get this one for free? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Now, few basic characters people you probably also heard of to build: Sucrose and Fischl. Now the reason everyone tells you to get these is because Fischl is just good solid electro off-field damage, and Sucrose is your first and the easiest utilization of iridescent Venerer sets, and I would say they are quite right. Like, as long as you are going for any element that you can utilize, that you can swirl. For example, you can't really do that with Hyper Bloom and Dendro because you can swirl Dendro. But if you're playing Vaporize or Raiden Hyper Carry, for example, then you would definitely need one animal because 60% resistance shred is just broken. So I'd say these characters are definitely worth investing. This might be an unpopular opinion, but a lot of people will actually tell you not to build characters like Kujo Sara. I would say I definitely regret not building her. There's also few characters quite like her. For example, Goro. I would also put the Faruzan in the same category as them. Maybe Diona too, the same list. Now, the reason why these are generally not accepted as the characters you should build, so these are all basically the same category. Maybe Diona is a bit different since she's a healer and all, but these are basically based just on 1 DPS, maybe 2. For example, only reason you would ever build Goro is if you have Arta Kito, build Kujo Sara if you have Raiden Shogun, or if you're Akijing main. You build Faruzan, well, pretty simple, you got Zhao, you got Wanderer. But these are often overshadowed characters. For example, not many people will tell you to build Kujo Sara so you could have your Raiden Hyper Carry, because you would generally just go for Raiden National, just because it's more easy to build, because you usually have these 3 characters maxed out. But that doesn't really mean we should throw these away, because it makes quite a hole in your Abyss teams. For example, first team is Raiden National. On the creation of your second Abyss team, you don't have Bennett available, you don't have Xingqiu available. Now, do you have any other hydro support available? So to get a character as powerful as Raiden and be able to use her in only 1 team, which happens to be National, with characters that every character wants to use, it just doesn't make sense. So if you have Raiden and if you want to play Raiden, build her and all, I would definitely advise also building your Kujo Sara, and of course building your Sucrose because you want to swirl generally, because that way you can just go Raiden, Sucrose, Sara, and maybe go for some healer. You're free to fill up that place with anyone really, isn't really specific. Maybe put in Mona or something, Jean, Albedo, whatever fills the spots, because this will already be broken. Like, you have attack boost in Kujo Sara with also Electro Resonance. You've got your Sucrose with Iridescent Venerer set, which also buffs her attack with Trillion Tales of Dragon Slayer, 3-star catalyst that you should definitely have. So that's already a great team, and you didn't spend than any of these 3-4 stars. So for your second half of the Abyss, you could literally just go any form of national team with these 3. Just throw in whatever you want. You can go OG and use Chongyun. There's really a countless of options once you fully free your second team, and trust me, even without your Zhangling or Xingqiu, Raiden will definitely work. As long as you can get some expensive bursts going on, buff her attack, Swirly or Electro, it's gonna be fine. Now some people are gonna be angry about this, but I would rank all of your DPSs. Okay, let's not overdo it. We shouldn't rank these two in the same tier. You know what, maybe let's just put Lisa here. So your DPSs, I think, don't go really high. Is Chongyun a DPS at all? Nah, let's just put him here. So these characters are generally just bad. Argue at using... what's this one even called? Xinyan, yeah, Xinyan. If you really want to argue that using Xinyan makes sense, kill yours! These characters, if you want to play them, that's fine, go ahead and build them. As I'm trying to give you some smart advice, you probably should not do that. But if you love playing a character, go for it. Now, why are rank these so low? Well, 4 stars as DPS, they can't really be anything else. Razor, not really great. The same with Ningguang, even though some people do use her as main DPS, they invest a lot in her. And they can do quite well in the Abyss. Although when you put countless of hours into farming for a character, it doesn't matter how strong the character is, you're gonna have a good artifact set. If you have a good weapon, you're gonna do generally well. Now, I'm not sure how Beidou stands with these characters. Is she like better than them? Because I've seen some pretty good stuff with Beidou, like pairing the attacks, getting some really big damage. But as a 4-star DPS, I don't think it's quite good as any of these. So these are really characters you should only build if you want to play them long term. Like if you really want play Beidou, if you like the pairing system, if you like claymores, then go for it. Go for it if you want. These are generally not the characters you should invest in. This new character, I believe, is just Cryo Battery. Those are alright. Like it's pretty much the same as Rosaria, no? Just Cryo Battery for your Ayaka or Ganyu, whatever you play. So those are alright, but you really shouldn't focus on them that much. If you want to play these sort of characters, you really just usually want to put some energy recharge on them, so you could get your DPS a bit more energy. So I don't really think those are worth building. I would definitely put Gaia above them, simply because he's got that spiraling ice around him that you can actually use in more teams. For example, Dilk Melt, Kutao Melt. It's probably a better support than these two. Yanfei I would also rank here in C tier. As much as some people get to do some high damage with her, I don't think it's worth building 4-star DPSs at all. Yao Yao. Now this I would put in A tier, because if you don't have any Dendro 5 stars, you might want to build your Yao Yao. Maybe also like Dendro Traveler, I've seen some people use it, and with Dendro and the way it works, it might be worth it. Because Hyper Bloom is pretty overpowered, so if you can get all your other characters built, and if you're struggling to make a team, I do encourage you to go and just build Yao Yao. I would actually maybe put her in front of these, because these are really specified for your 1 DPS, and you should really get them if you're planning to use that 1 DPS. For example, Zhao, planning to use Raiden, Artakito, you must have the dog. Ayaka, I tried playing Ayaka without her, I still didn't build her, and I still don't play Ayaka, so definitely build Diona. Barbara, one of the most hated characters, although if you don't have any 5-star healers and you're struggling with that in the Abyss, you might go for her, but there's much better option of just going for Sucrose. That's why I'll actually put Barbara just in D tier, because you can just go for Sucrose or literally any Catalyst character. It can be Mona, it can also be Sucrose, it can... who else would you use that's Catalyst really? Instead of killing Castle Dragon Slayers, you could also do that with Nahida, which I do quite often in my Abyss runs. Just give her Prototype Ember that you can literally make at the blacksmith. It's actually quite a good weapon, because it removes the need for the healer. Because it heals your full team, it also gives them energy, so that's quite nice. And it happens as soon as you use your elemental burst, so just give her 200 energy recharge, throw a Prototype Ember on her, and you'll be fine. You don't need Barbara at all. At least that's how most of my Abyss runs go. Now Noelle, do you really need that shield? Is it really that efficient? Actually, you might struggle dodging characters and you don't have Zhongli, don't really have a chance to pull for your Zhongli, but I don't really think I would advise you to build into Noelle. Maybe it changes now, people are saying something with Brina and Noelle being better, but I don't think that really matters. It's not such a big change. Sayu. Now, the reason I wish I'd actually build Sayu is only because of exploration. So I don't think she's really that great character in general. Like, she's got nothing going on. Her elemental skill is really just good for traveling, so I would advise not building Sayu definitely, but for exploration, if you really need one animal character that's also gonna be a healer and you have a lot of exploration going on and you're struggling to explore stuff, then build her if you want, because I am definitely using Sayu a lot in my explorations when I feel like exploring. Now, will I ever use her in Abyss? Definitely no. Should you build her? Probably not. Not the greatest character, but she's great for exploration, so if you want your full exploration team to be leveled up, then you can invest some time in your Sayu. Toma. Now, this guy, I would say maybe maybe not there, maybe at the high top of B tier. The only reason why is Virgin teams. Toma, my man. Now, I remember back in the day pulling for Hutao banner. It's funny because I didn't want Hutao at all. It was right when I started playing the game. It was like 3 years ago. It was actually here in 11th month. So I started playing the game. I think it was around 3 years ago. Maybe it was in this month, perhaps. Let me check that. Yeah, so this was 2 years ago when I was pulling for Hutao banner. So I played something little before on my phone. This I was playing on PlayStation and I was pulling for Hutao, although I was not really pulling for Hutao but for Toma. At that time I was spending my Primogenitus on standard banner because I wanted this dialogue. So yeah, I was literally pulling on Hutao banner for Toma because he just seemed cool, like uses his ult and throws flames out of his spear. That was pretty amazing. Then I never got to use him or build him because I didn't unlock Inazuma yet, and by the time I did, I had a bunch of characters to level up. I had to level up my Xingqiu because I didn't know he was good at all. Then I had to level up my Diluc too. I had to give him a bunch of good artifacts. So yeah, it created a snowball effect. I just said I had to build everyone and everything, and Toma just got left behind. Toma was actually pretty terrible back in the day, and now he's actually arguably good because of the Dendro, so you can use him for like Virgin teams. If you want, you can use him as support for Diluc or Hutao, although I don't think that's really great option. Like if you're playing mono pyro, like if you're sick in your head or something, maybe yeah, but if you're trying to vaporize, should you really have another pyro character stealing that vaporize from your dealer? Probably not. So I would put him maybe next to Kaya. He's really specific for just few teams. You might use him in Virgin, but the reason why it doesn't really matter why he's bad in Virgin is because there's a better reaction called Hyper Bloom. And for Hyper Bloom you would use much better character. For example, Kuki Shinobu. So I put her above all of these characters because I think she might be one of these, like maybe above Fischl even. I don't see much point in Fischl, but in Kuki Hyper Bloom, she's really the only 4-star character that can utilize Hyper Bloom well. Adore will just throw straight to health here together with Aloy. But Kuki's pretty fine because she's basically your Raiden plus the healing, so that's quite alright. Like, she's not as efficient as Raiden. You would get more damage with your Raiden, but if you need healing, just build your Kuki and you got yourself quite well Hyper Bloom, and it can consist of just 4-star characters really. Like you got Kuki, you got Xingqiu, you got whatever you're using for your Dendro. You can use Xiao Yao, and then you can just throw in Dendro Traveler, or I don't know, throw in Fischl, another Hydro, you can throw in Sucrose, whatever you want. Now, as much as it of course probably would be better to use Raiden or maybe even Keqing, I'm not sure how well he stands there with Hyper Bloom, but really just off-field Electro. In current Dendro meta, it definitely proved to be quite broken. Like, I just slammed 1000 EM on my Raiden, I use my unbuilt Nahida, and I win, that's it, I just win. So Kuki I would definitely advise building if you're trying to use her for Hyper Bloom. Just a couple of 4 stars, it doesn't seem very powerful, but it's gonna do broken damage, so definitely one of the better characters in my book. Kirara, I don't know, I wouldn't really call her worth building. Mika, whatever this guy is supposed to be, it's not worth building. So I think Mika is just failure, like put him in the D tier, because why would you need another cryo support? He buffs attack speed too, so maybe like for Eula teams, if you really need it. However, there are better options than that little guy. This little guy, Freminet is he called? Okay, so I actually had to Google this one to know his cryo and not hydro. For this little guy, I just wanna say, is that the bell right next to Aloy? Okay, so that's it of the list. Let's summarize it. So 3 characters you should definitely have built, although jungling is a bit lower than these two, but still, build your jungling. It comes from a Diluc main who absolutely despises jungling. I would put this guy in triple S tier at any time of the day, because I'm delusional, and I despise jungling so much because she's just better DPS than Diluc, with just being a 4-star. Yeah, you should definitely invest in your jungling, give her R5 catch, level her up. I'm also one of the people that will tell you to do get a C6 Bennett, as long as you don't play like Eula, Jing, Ayaka. I do have Ayaka, but I don't play her, and if I played her, I definitely wouldn't use Bennett. I would just be a normal person who uses her for the freeze, maybe with Ganyu when I pull for Ganyu. So yeah, these 3 you'll just generally always use. Jungling maybe a bit less than these 2, but still she's definitely worth building. I would advise you to definitely build your Sucrose as long as you want to play any team where you deal elemental damage, any elemental reaction with like Vaporize, Melt, any of those. Build your Sucrose. Use her, she's definitely great, trust me. If you're using Zhao and lack supports, you can use your Sucrose and buff him with the attack for killing these Tales of Dragon Slayers. Fischl is one character that I kinda regret not building because there are situations where I could have used her with Zhao. Although, because of Zhongli, I don't think I really need her. But if you can find a spot in your team for Fischl, I would definitely advise getting her. Yeah, on contrary, I definitely do not regret not building her because I've got Nahida, the best Dendro in the game. But if you don't have any 5-star Dendros, then definitely build your Yao Yao. Cookie, she goes hand to hand with Yao Yao. If you're going for your Hyper Bloom, you definitely need Cookie if you don't have Raiden. These 4, I would rank. Actually, let's put Yunjin here. These 4 I would rank higher than Yunjin, because these buff you so much. Like, if you're playing your NMO DPS, if you're playing your Zhao, your Wanderer, it's no discussion that you need to have your Farzan. If you're playing Raiden and you're not playing Raiden National, if your Diluc already took your entire team for the National, use your Raiden, give her a Sucrose, give her Kujo Sara, you can maybe use Mona if you lost your 50-50. And have fun, you're still gonna do great damage. Matter of fact, you're probably gonna do more damage because you're just buffing Raiden, so usually your jungling is the one doing damage, which overall might be more, but your Raiden is gonna do way bigger damage if you just focus on buffing her instead of buffing your entire team. And sometimes it can be better if you have a built Raiden, so I would definitely advise you building your Kujo Sara if you play Raiden. The same with Goro if you play Artaki Ito. If you play Ningguang, you're clinically insane. So yeah, those are my thoughts on what 4-star characters you definitely should be building, or what 4-star characters you definitely should not be building. Of course, 3 of them stand as GOATs. These characters, I do believe, under your conditions, they are great to build and you should definitely consider it. If this video helped you, let me know in the comments. Let me know what 4 stars you are going to build, and have a great day. See you in the next one.